Good evening and welcome to the second edition of The Big Question. And so the big question that we have today, we know majorly we talk of politics and just state of the nation, but today we are going to take a deviation a little bit to look at some of the things, the developing stories that we have currently. And that is, we talk of the headlines of the program. We have a suspension of physical learning in all education institutions. We have some counties being locked down due to the COVID-19. Numbers are rising up. We have final rush for the vaccination, that is to say the COVID-19. And that is why we have Geoffrey Mboya. Mr. Geoffrey Mboya is KUSA, a student leader, is here with us in the studio. We also have Madam Irene Mbori. She's also here with us. She's going actually here in the sense of gender-based violence. Now that the students have moved to their respective homes, they are not no longer in schools due to the directives that were given on Friday by the President of the Republic of Kenya, President Muigai Uhuru Kenyatta. So that is just what we have today, and give us your feedback. In fact, our SMS number is 0743975653. Tell us what you are thinking about. Use the hashtag The Big Question at Taflis Media Services at GFKE. Let us know what you are thinking of. We are taking a short break, but when we come back, we are going to discuss the issues that we have today on the program. Stay with us. Welcome back. We are on the program The Big Question, and so we're going to look at some of the things apart from the big question that we have. Normally we are looking at the state of education in Kenya. We are looking at the state of economy now that some counties have been brought to lockdown. You know, there is no movement in and out of the counties. The counties include Nairobi County, we have Kajiado County, we have Kiambu County, we also have Nakuru County. So there's no movement into those county in and out. So we're going to see if there may be a solution to these counties. What is next for them? We also have the developing story on the issue of education. We want to see what next. What is the fate of education in Kenya? We had the first phase of the students being sent back home. We also have We also had a number of issues coming out on the first phase. Now that we have the third phase of the COVID-19 bringing into various issues. So that is why we have in the studio today. We have Mr. Geoffrey, where the student KUSA leader. We also have Madam Mbori is here with us. She's going to talk about issues on gender-based violence now that students have moved back to their various homes. But before that, we say as the Royal Media Services that we lost Robin Njogu, former Royal Media Services radio managing editor, who was laid to rest in his home in Cherangani. That is on Saturday 27. We say that may his soul rest in peace. Robin was eulogized as a consummate journalist and an umbrella to many in the field of journalism. May his soul rest in peace. We also had President John Pombe Magufuli, the President of Tanzania, who also passed away and was laid to rest on 26th of Friday. That is this March. He in his home in Chato. We also say that may his soul rest in peace. Now back to what we have. We're going to have the program. Geoffrey Mboya and Madam Irene, thank you so much for making time for us, and we're just grateful for your time. Now we're looking at the issues. We have the issues of suspension of learning in all learning institutions in Kenya. And the President on Friday, the 26th, the President of the Republic, Muigai Uhuru Kenyatta, said, and I quote, with respect to education in Kenya, there shall be immediate suspension of all ongoing physical learning, including in universities and tertiary and vocational colleges, other than for candidates sitting for their examinations and those in medical training institutions until otherwise. Now, we're moving to the second phase of students being back at home. What do you say?
Okay, thank you very much, Jeff, for having me in the studio. Just like His Excellency the President made some executive orders just the other day.
Yes.
But the problem is that the President did not consider some 3 factors.
Yes.
Of which after that, we made some letter to the office of the President, and I think we saw some positive response yesterday by the government spokesman, Cyrus Owo.
Yes.
You know, for you to suspend students, the physical learnings, the President should also consider those who have overstayed in university.
Yes.
Because there are those who were to graduate last year,
yes.
they have not graduated. There are also those who are supposed to graduate this year,
Yes.
and semester is already pushed ahead.
Yes.
In as much we know the COVID is real in Kenya, and we know it is very real, and we need to continue taking measures.
Yes.
But we also need to consider some factors. I personally, as one of the union student leaders in Kenya,
Yes.
I completely disagree with the suspension of physical learning with institutions.
Yes.
Yes.
And now, do you say that the President didn't actually sit down with the stakeholders to discuss on the issues of suspending the learning in the educational institutions?
Jeff, let me tell you something.
Yes.
We have Ministry of Education, headed by CS Magoa.
Yes.
These people, they don't always consult us.
Yes.
And we also demand to be consulted.
Yes.
They don't consult us.
Yes.
I don't know, they don't see any impact of students in this country.
Yes.
So, sometimes it's good to consult students.
Yes.
We are the leaders of tomorrow.
Yes.
And we are the leaders of today.
Mm.
So, I think it is a little bit tricky.
It's tricky. Where do you see the fate of education in Kenya? We had the first phase, students getting back home for a period of months. We also, they just stayed in school around 3 months or less than that, and they are now back home. We never know at what time they'll get back to school. Where do you see the fate of education?
The fate of education, you know, last year,
Yes.
2020,
Yes.
there was no any learning that took place.
Yes.
Meaning the 2 semesters were pushed to this year. And another 1 semester is also added on top.
Yes.
Meaning there are now 3 semesters.
Yes.
1 year and a half wasted. I think the fate of education is just okay, but the only challenge that comrades are now experiencing,
Yes.
like recently you saw the students from Moi, some of them were starving. In fact, some of them were even fainting.
Yes.
Because there was also delay of help.
Yeah.
But as we proceed to some level, I would advise government,
Yes.
if I'm permitted,
Yes.
that we know comrades who are in colleges, polytechnics, universities. These are mature big people, and they can take measures. If you compare them to our sisters who are in primary and high schools.
Yes.
We can as well adhere to the COVID protocols, and the government can just permit us to proceed with education.
Yes.
Yeah, so with time, I'm seeing there will be a very big congestion in graduation. Yes.
Yes. We have some other feedback. So we have one, Mario Namondo is saying, 2019 third year, 2020 third year, 2021 third year, up to when will this go? That is what she's actually saying. Up to when will this go? Meaning 2019 third year, 2020 third year, 2021 still third year. Up to when will this go?
You see, there is no shortcut in
Yes.
education.
Yes.
Unless otherwise. But in Kenya, I know there is no any shortcut.
Yes.
You have just to go through the channels
Yes.
up to the point of your graduation.
Yes.
So even if she's third year at this point, she will just have to bear with the situation, because it is not the government fault, it's not our fault.
Yes.
We will just have to adhere to it. Unless if she wants to vacate Kenya and go to our
Go to another country.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Now, Madam Gori, we have now students going back home, right? And you had the other time where issues of pregnancy, early pregnancy, that is teenage pregnancy, around the country, that is to say, now that they are back, now how are we going to cope up with this life? Students being back at home for a period of time, then being back at home, we have a number of issues like we're going to majorly have issues of gender-based violence, that is to say. Where do you see these heading to?
It's very, very funny, and sometimes I even smile because we haven't healed from 2021 when
Yes.
we actually had the COVID issues.
Yes.
And how many girls got pregnant?
Yes.
And how many boys were sodomized when
Yes.
that COVID came? And do you know the percentage of girls who went back to school didn't even reach the normal percentage of the girls who went to
Yes.
school? And the girls have already given birth to this.
Mm.
And we are still actually on the hard way.
Yes.
And the hard way is it's going to be more worse than the other time because for this time they're now prepared because that time they were not prepared of COVID. But now they are prepared and there are also measures. They're
Yes.
going to know how to play their cards well.
Yes.
So it's going to be worse than before.
Yes.
And now for people who are ambassadors and people who are campaigners like me,
Yes.
that is whereby we don't sleep.
Yes.
Because the kids now understand us more than anything.
Yes.
And if you see the ages of the young girls basically involving themselves into sexual issues,
Yes.
it's so rampant and it is even worrying.
Yeah.
So
It's already going up.
of course, yes. We haven't healed from the other time.
Yes.
And we are now
It's
back
just a
again.
couple of months.
And now
we're
we're
going
back
back.
again. Now we're back again.
Yes.
So it's not going to be very easy.
Mm.
It is not easy. It is not easy.
Yes, I met a funny tweet. It says wale amkupata member phase 1 ndio hii opportunity nyingine.
Exactly.
So something like that. That is what is happening with the students.
Yeah,
going
because you
back
see,
home.
when they went back to school,
Yes.
some of the girls were pregnant and some
Yes,
were not
already.
pregnant.
Yes.
You see, so the other ones are going to try also to become pregnant.
Yes.
But that's the reality.
Yes.
The other ones are going to try. I'm going to try because she was allowed back to school. She came to school when she was pregnant. Why not
Yes.
me to become pregnant so that I can also go back to school?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Geoffrey, we have some counties, the 5 counties that have been brought down to lockdown. That is to mean there's not any movement in and out of the counties. And the president said with immediate effect, but I think there was a little bit period that was given up to tomorrow for the movements to be done, after which there should never be any entry and outgoing of any person in those counties. Now we had counties like Nairobi, we had Kajiado, Nakuru, Kiambu and Machakos. So there's no any movement in and out. What is going to happen to these counties? What is really happening? Because we've seen actually the lockdown, they've also been given what we normally call the issue of not being out maybe in the night. That is to say, right? They have the curfew hours from 8, right? And the other counties have the curfews from 10. And so, what is going to actually happen? What is their fate? The 5 counties that have been brought to lockdown.
Yes, Jeff, it is not a new deal
Yes.
that the government is putting up these measures.
Yes.
Initially, the first phase of COVID,
Yes.
we saw Nairobi was under lockdown, Mombasa was under lockdown,
Yes.
Nakuru was under lockdown. And these measures, we appreciate them because these are the red zones.
Yeah, they termed them as the zone areas of COVID-19.
Yeah, zone areas of COVID-19. So
Yes.
for us to stop this spread
Yes.
of COVID, I think the president was just very right.
Yes.
And even increasing the curfew,
Yeah.
the curfew hour, it was just good. But otherwise, we also need to check it into another perspective in terms of development. Like we have those who are employed.
Yeah.
And these people actually they are affected.
Yes.
And because now like the operation of bus and also the transport sector,
Yes.
because there are some buses traveling all the way from Mombasa to Kisumu to Kampala.
Yes.
So it's also it is positive, and also another way around it is negative.
Yes.
But we have just to take it.
Yes.
Yes.
No, thank you for that, Mr. Geoffrey. Madam Irene,
Yes.
currently we had a number of COVID-19 cases rising up due to the class 8s were doing exams, the rest were going back home. Directives. There was a number of increment in the number of COVID-19 cases. Now, do you mean that this COVID-19 stayed with the students in where they were in various schools, or what happened? Because the number shoot.
You know, Jeff, most of the parents lost their jobs.
Yes.
And some would not even afford some.
Yes.
And then some could not even afford the mask.
Yes.
Because you have to buy the mask when you go to school.
Mm-hmm.
So it reached a point whereby the parents were also tired of telling their kids, we don't have a mask, we just have to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
So when these kids meet together, you will not see them wearing one mask, because I don't have a mask, he has a mask. So he will also automatically remove his, because
Yes.
I really doesn't have a mask. But maybe it is not their fault not to have the mask.
Yes.
The schools, the government was to provide mask and soap to the students, or rather to the schools. So that is why this thing had to rise up.
Yes.
People are actually stressed. The parents are stressed. Hakuna do. Eh? So how will I go hungry to buy a mask, and that 10 bob can fit me to buy a mandazi for my son, for my daughter? I better do the mandazi and I go to school without a mask. Yes.
That is going to bring us to issues of economy.
Of course, yes.
The third phase, we have the third phase of COVID-19. Economy is now going to be tight a little bit, right? That is to say, what is going to actually happen in terms of, the kids are at home, the parents are not back with them at home, and it is going to be a little bit tight to the parents, majorly.
So suicide is going to be on a high rise.
Yes.
As a psychologist, I know suicide is going to be on a very high rise, because I will not be able to see my children going hungry. I don't have a job, I lost my job. My kids don't have food.
Yes.
I cannot afford mask. I can not afford soap. Things are going to be worse unless everybody goes back to his or her needs. Because where we are now facing, it is not easy. Because I walk on the street and I meet people talking to themselves. The way life has become tough.
Yes.
And have in mind, some people have even given birth to many children.
Yes.
So the universities are back home.
Yeah.
The colleges are back home. The Form 4s are going and coming back. The primary schools are back. So I'll be having 14 kids in my house.
Yeah, exactly.
I need to buy unga. The unga imeenda juu. Mafuta ya kupika 20 liters now is about 3,600.
Imepanda.
So tell me, how am I going to sustain these kids in the house?
Yes.
Unless God comes, which I
And
know
intervenes.
He won't come now.
Thank you for that. Mr. Geoffrey, I'm back to you. Last time we had issues of teachers in private schools. When they're at home, those who have been employed by the TSC, they were being paid during the COVID-19, the lockdown, right? Now we have another phase of the lockdown. How are these teachers going to manage their life? Because they are now back at home. They were in private schools, meaning their payment is only based on their performance while they are in school. Now that they are out of school, what is going to happen?
Yes, I think as per now, I
Yes.
know all schools are closed and everybody is at home.
Yes.
But suppose the lockdown actually extends more than we think,
Yes.
then it will be a challenge to these our brothers who are in private sectors.
Yes.
I think last year,
Yes.
there was a certain amount that the government gave out
Yes.
to the private teachers. I don't know whether they received it, I'm not sure about that. But I want to believe that they received it. In any case, this event persists,
Yes.
I think they will have the other alternative means of surviving, because this corona, since because it's a pandemic.
Yeah, it is a
Since
pandemic
it
now.
came to this our country, people have learned ways of surviving.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think it's upon them to program themselves. Yeah.
Now, welcome back to the last session of the program. We have, before that, we're going to look at some feedbacks and comments. We have Joyce Semba. The country is at its verge of collapsing in all sectors. That is what Joyce is saying. Thank you so much, Joyce. We have Bramwell Wafula. Bramwell says, it is that education has no meaning anymore. Bramwell is just asking a question that it is that education has no meaning anymore. Then we have Joan Wafula. Joan says the president didn't consider those in Form 4 doing exams in those locked countries. That is to say, the counties that have been locked down. We have Jonathan Karieri. Jonathan is saying, Jeff, we are really fed up with education in Kenya. So those are just but the sample of comments and feedbacks that you've given us. Now that Madam Irene, I'm back to you. Your last word to the parents. We have the kids who are back at home, students and the pupils.
Yeah, for the parents, the other time we had a serious issue about you people taking care of your children.
Yes.
You're not prepared when COVID came.
Yes.
But for now, you are prepared to take care of your kids. Take good care of your kids.
Yes.
Have time with your kids. Punish them with a lot of love.
Yes.
I won't talk about boy child, I won't talk about girl child, I'm going to talk about your children.
Yes.
Involve your children in a lot of activities in the house.
Yes.
What time do your child wake up? What time do they go to sleep? What kind of gadgets are they using? And what kind of games are they playing on their gadgets? Are you checking on what your son or your daughter is doing through the phone?
Yes.
Thirdly,
Yes.
my prayer has always been we need a serious rescue center.
Yes.
The situation is becoming worse and worse.
Yes.
I am tired of having my own rescue center because I am overwhelmed with taking care of the children.
Yes.
Is the government ready to build a rescue center for the boys and girls so that we can have a conducive environment for the children?
Yes.
And for the children who have already given birth, and for the children who are also pregnant, let them give birth, let them go back to school, and let them start a new life. Otherwise, I wish you all the best as you take care of your children. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Irene. Mr. Geoffrey Mboya, the students are back at home. What would you tell them? Now that we never know what time, what period they'll take at home and when they'll be back to school.
For our brothers and sisters from the primary level and secondary level, I advise them to sit down home, help parents, take care of themselves, and also to help in taking care of their elder ones. To our comrades,
Yes.
I want to assure them that we are fighting for them, and soon, because there was only suspension of the physical learning,
Yes.
there will be another session whereby they will proceed by online studying, and let us remember to be prayerful.
Yes.
Otherwise, take care of COVID and be safe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Geoffrey Mboya. Thank you very much, Madam Irene, for making time for us. We're just grateful for your time being with us in the studio, and we say nothing but thank you very much. Now, thank you very much for watching the program, The Big Question. Today we had Mr. Geoffrey Mboya, the KUSA student leader. We had Madam Irene, the chief campaigner of gender-based violence. We say thank you so much. Let's meet on the next edition of The Big Question. Thank you so much.